Jamie and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be giving a short kind of overview, first impressions review of Ghosts Series 3, which, spoiler, was absolutely incredible. So the first part of this video will be about the first episode, so this will be very spoilers, kind of more in depth, still not like completely, but definitely more in depth about the first episode, what I liked about it, and then I will go on to explain what I liked about the whole series. So if you haven't watched the whole series, then please don't watch the second half of this video because I don't want to spoil anything for you. I'm not going too in depth, but there still will be things that you might not want to hear about the rest of the series. So yeah, I will make it very clear when we go on to that section. So, my thoughts on episode 1. Again, there will be spoilers in this section for episode 1. So, be warned, if you haven't watched it, go and watch it. So yeah, my overall thoughts. I thought it was a pretty good episode to start the series off with. However, it wasn't my favourite episode out of the whole series, which I'll talk about in the second half of this video, but still very, very good episode. So even though it was, in my opinion, probably the weakest episode of the entire series, that just goes to show how amazing the rest of it is. So if you haven't watched the rest, then you've got a lot to look forward to. It's really good. So obviously the main focus for me, the very, very interesting part for me is Humphry's backstory, and yeah, it was really good. I know loads of people had different theories about how Humphry died, and I don't think any of us could have guessed this. However, a lot of people did work out that it would have something to do with betraying the king or queen. Obviously it was Queen Elizabeth at the time it was taking place, and yeah, so props to you if you got that right. That was really good. And one thing I really like is how his death is kind of still a mystery to the other ghosts, which is something we don't really see, apart from with Mary. The ghosts don't really know the full story, and I think that's a really interesting concept that they've done. And I really liked how when they were telling the story, Humphry was telling the story, you kind of had the camera looking from his perspective, so you had all the weird angles, and it was really nice to see kind of how the world is from his perspective, because it's kind of distorted for him, and really interesting. And we get a lot more from Humphry because he normally is kind of not a background character, but he is kind of separated from the main lot of ghosts, which is a shame because he is a really interesting character and I really like him. And one thing that this backstory did show is just how kind of pure and just genuinely nice of a person he is. You know, he's been forced to marry somebody that doesn't speak his language, that he doesn't know or love, and yet he shows so much compassion and empathy for her as well, because again, she isn't in this situation willingly either. And I think that's just really nice. It shows how lovely it is. And them trying to converse in French and English was really, it was funny. And then to find out that she actually could speak English, I think it worked very well, the backstory. And I think that's definitely the strongest part of this episode, especially because, as I said, you hear the one story and then we kind of hear the rest of it afterwards. And yeah, it was just really good. And I like how it's kind of like Guy Fawkes. Everyone knows Guy Fawkes' name, but he wasn't actually the genius behind it all. And it's kind of similar how Humphry's been named the genius behind this plot when it was actually his wife. I also really liked the kind of insight that we got to Alison's family, because a lot of people questioned about her family, whether or not they were alive, and we unfortunately found out that both her father died when she was young and her mother died more recently, which means that she inherited the house, and being an only child, so she's kind of alone in her family. So I think that you really get a sense that how much she appreciates the ghosts because they are her family, and just how amazing Mike is as well in all of this. And yeah, I was expecting her to have little to no family, but it was very sad. This episode did have a really good mix of just kind of hilarious situations and jokes and stuff, and then kind of very emotional because you really sympathise with Humphry and kind of the situation that he is in. Yet it's still very funny. He dies in such an embarrassing way. He would be on Stupid Deaths if he was real. Oh god, it was just so funny. I also liked the interactions we had between Alison and Thomas. I thought that was just very nice. You get a very genuine sense of their friendship, and I definitely think Thomas in this episode especially is kind of moving away from kind of like being creepily in love with her and just genuinely just admiring her and wanting kind of closeness and a friendship with her. Like obviously he still wants a relationship with her, but it's kind of, for me, gone past that creepiness. Now I don't know how anybody else feels about it, but that was kind of my one main thing with Thomas, especially in like series 1, 2 and the Christmas special. It was just kind of like, it felt a bit too creepy, and just kind of like lack of boundaries, whereas this, I don't know, it seems a lot more genuine, which I really like and I really appreciate. And yeah, Thomas is such a lovely character, so it's definitely making me like him a lot more. So yeah, very and it was just very funny, like the montage between him and Alison doing all these weird like drama school like vocal exercises and everything, and I just thought it was really good. It's absolutely hilarious, that part as well. And yeah, obviously there was the whole documentary aspect to it, so they were filming the documentary in the house. So this is where I think things kind of get a bit more complicated. I'm not saying it was like hard to follow or anything like that, it's just there was just so many mini plot lines going on at once that I feel like they could have like cut one out and kept it a bit simpler and then focused more on Humphry and kind of like this Alison trying to get over her fright. So I wrote down all the plots that there were just in this one episode. So obviously there was Humphry's backstory, there was the documentary crew, there was Mike wanting promo, so designing the jumper and wanting Alison to be on the camera, there's Alison being camera shy, so having to train with Thomas, there was Pat trying to get Captain and Fanny to laugh, and then there was the neighbour who looked like he was going to have a heart attack. Like, that's 6 plots in one episode, and I know they're not all full plots, but it was just kind of like, it kind of felt like there was too much going on, which I guess kind of shows how, like, I don't know, Alison's life is, that she's just got so much stuff going on with the ghost, so I definitely like understand it. It's just, you know, it's a 30-minute episode, like that's a lot to go in one episode. However, saying that, I think the ending of the episode was really, really good. Like, it all came together very well. It's just kind of, the process was a bit messier than what we're used to. But again, like I'm saying, I'm not saying it was bad at all. It was just kind of not as refined as Ghosts normally is. And yeah, but as I was saying, the ending is really good. Like, them watching the documentary and having like Julian move the vase behind the neighbour. I can't remember the neighbour's name. Barclay. That's his name, Barclay. Yeah, so I liked the kind of the final scene where they're all watching it and Julian is moving the vase behind where Barclay's talking, and he's kind of given this kind of saying, oh, it's inhabited with ghosts, and it was funny. And obviously with Alison wearing the jumper with the the writing kind of spelling out butthole, which was very, very funny. And then obviously you get kind of the resolution of Captain and Fanny finding something funny and laughing, and I did like that plot line with Pat realising that he's never heard them laugh, and them kind of describing what they find funny, like their jokes that I don't even understand half the jokes that they're trying to tell, but like, yeah, every mini plot worked very well. It's just all together, it seemed like there was just too much going on. But I don't know how you guys feel about it. But I think it was a very good episode to start with. I think starting with Humphry's backstory, who is very like kind of interesting one. Like, I found it very fascinating, his one. And like the way he died, like the swords falling down, like I saw the swords over the fireplace and I was like, that's gonna come in somehow. I was expecting him to like grab it off and like have like a duel with the people and end up getting his head like chopped off, but I did not see them falling on him, which yeah, very, very good. Yeah, just very funny. One thing another thing that I thought worked really well is that I didn't get the sense that it was filmed during COVID, if that makes sense. Yeah, so there were times where people kind of felt a bit far away, but because of how developed the characters are and like there's the dialogue between them all, you still got that sense of closeness. So it didn't feel like everybody was like distancing themselves from each other. Like, it worked very well. And for the majority of the series, I didn't get the sense of they were restricted in any way due to COVID. So yeah, props to them on that. It was absolutely fantastic. And also just like a thank you to everybody who worked on Ghost, because you've done such an amazing job. and in a pandemic, and I can't imagine how stressful that was, and you've done absolutely amazing, and we are all very, very grateful. So this part of the video will now be on the rest of the series. So if you haven't seen it, then please don't watch this part of the video because I don't want to spoil it for you. So I absolutely loved series 3. I thought there were some amazing moments. It was so emotional yet so funny at the same time, and I'm genuinely always amazed with how Ghosts can get that combination so right, because it is kind of a morbid show in certain senses, like, but they make it funny, and I admired them all so much. Yeah, I would say my favourite episode was the camping episode, which was episode 3. Pat and Alison, their interactions through this whole episode was just genuinely hilarious. And Lucy, Lucy. I don't remember seeing Jessica Knappett's kind of like being cast as anybody in Ghosts. I don't know if I'm the only one in that, but when I saw her knock at the door, I was like, oh my gosh, Jessica Knappett, and I love Jessica Knappett. I was quite excited to see her character, but I think from the sense you still got that kind of something is off with Lucy, and yeah, I thought her character was really interesting. I liked the whole the plot line, because every series has had like an overarching series plot. So series 1 is like them trying to get out of this house, series 2 is the wedding, and then now series 3 is this long lost sister. And I wanted from series 3 to learn a bit more about Alison's family, because some people pointed out, and I realised that if Alison had to inherit the house, that meant that she didn't have any family left, which was heartbreaking. And you could see that in Alison, especially in the first episode, just how devastated she was about her family, and how like just grateful she was to find another family member. And then the final episode, my heart has like so broken. Like, oh god, like Charlotte Ritchie is such an amazing actress. Like, it was just, you could just feel the devastation in her. The creativity in this series has really like flourished. When we get into Kitty's backstory, heartbreaking. I thought the way that they had the kind of the main cast come in and out of the characters, that is a very bad way of saying it, but you know what I mean. Like, one point there, it's Alison, another point it's her sister, and I think it just kind of shows how much of a family the Ghosts are to Kitty, and you got that distorted sense about Kitty doesn't really know what really happened. Yeah, that's another part, like the round table, like the kind of like intervention-y thing, that was such a good way of kind of COVID distancing. Again, don't know if it was intentional, but you know, having everybody separated around from each other, but you just got the sense that everybody just genuinely cared about her, and it just radiated warmth and comfort, and it was just wonderful, and just brilliant. I think the character development in this series is very strong as well. I think every character's had significant growth, especially Julian. Julian's character is very much the focus of kind of a lot of aspects. You know, he's the one that we see become a ghost, and he's got these regrets with his family, and genuinely seems to be improving as a person, which is lovely. And his kind of relationship with Robin and with the chess is lovely to watch. And the captain, like that intervention, like I swear, that definitely felt like he was going to come out, and that would have been incredible. However, I feel like, I don't know if it's the right time, and there's so much that we don't know yet. Like with Kitty, we still don't know Kitty's full story. Mary, we don't know her story either. Mary in that dream, that was horror stuff. That was scary. I feel like this is a very rambly video, so I apologise if you're not into that, but I just have so many thoughts, and I just loved like every second of it. It was just absolutely incredible. There were some odd choices, but funny choices, like the Fanny and Humphry plot. That was odd, but it just kind of came out of nowhere, but that's fine. I thought it was funny, and just kind of really embracing just that kind of wildness of Ghosts. And yeah, I think there's just so many amazing moments that I can't really put it all into words here, but I will be doing a full review, as I said, because I just need to articulate my thoughts a bit more clearly. But this is just supposed to be a first impressions video, and if you want to know if I loved series 3, I did. I watched it all the night it came out because I have no self-control, but it was amazing. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, then please give it a like, it's much appreciated. And comment down below what you thought of the first episode. Try and keep it spoiler free for everything past the first episode for people who haven't been able to watch it. And yeah, if you want more videos related to ghosts, then please subscribe because there will definitely be more videos out soon. And yeah, thank you for watching. Bye!